Hey everyone, Tesla Tom here, and thanks so much for joining me on my YouTube channel where I discuss Tesla, electric vehicles, and renewable energy. If this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. Please take a moment to hit that red subscribe button. That way you stay informed of any new content, and it also helps my channel to grow. Today we're going to attempt another Autopilot Urban Challenge here in Sydney, Australia, in our Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth on software update 2020.36.10 with full self-driving. We're going to do that and much more right after this. Alright guys, so three very simple rules for the Urban Autopilot Challenge. Number one, you must have it for autopilot for at least 20 minutes. Number two, you must count the number of times autopilot brakes or when you have to intervene on this drive. And number three, it must be on an urban road. So whether it be a city road, suburban road, it can't be on a highway, freeway, motorway. So basically, in the spirit of the challenge, keep it on a city or urban road. So currently we are actually on Pittwater Road. I've started the journey in Monavale up the top end, and we're going to see how far we can go down Pittwater Road. I'm expecting to hit at least DY and hopefully all the way down to Brookvale. I probably won't go onto the Spit Bridge today. We'll leave that for another challenge for another day. Like I said before, I'm on 2020.36.10 in our Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth. We've got full self-driving unlocked for this car. Probably won't get to use navigate on autopilot because it's a city road. We've got traffic visualizations. Let me just show you on the settings screen here. We've got the green light chime, we've got full self-driving visualization preview, auto steer of course, and we've got traffic light reactivity or awareness, which means that the car will stop at red lights. It will go on green if you are the second and subsequent car if you're stopped at a red light, which I'm about to show you now as an example. And if you're just driving through a green light, if you've got enough distance between, or rather if you're close enough between you and the car ahead of you passing through a green, then using traffic aware cruise control, your car will follow that car through the green light, no problem. If you're a bit too far away from that car ahead of you, you may have to make a decision for the car by tapping your stalk or by putting your foot on the accelerator. But given we're in sort of peak hour traffic at the moment, I would think that most green lights here on Pittwater Road, which is a fairly busy road in Sydney, we should be able to go on green pretty easily for most of the time. Just passing Warriewood now, going at 70 kilometers an hour. There are a few school zones in the area. It's currently 8:52, so we are in school zone periods here in Sydney, generally between 8 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. on a weekday, on a school weekday. So it will be interesting to see what happens when we pass a school zone, whether the car will automatically jump down to 40 kilometers an hour. I'll just show you what I'm on traffic follow. I'm on number 1 now, which I like to keep it on. I think 2 is an absolute minimum in Sydney peak hour traffic, just because if you're too far behind the car ahead of you, someone is going to cut ahead of you. Right, after we hit this green light, like I said, look, go on green, no issues. I'm not intervening at all. I didn't confirm for the green, so that's good. Obviously there was a close enough gap between myself and this combi van ahead of me. So now we're coming up to a red light and it's stopping very nicely. We are just entering a school zone now. As you can see there, it pops up there with an option to press 40, which I will do because we are in a school zone. Interesting, that didn't go to 40 when I press it. Okay. I was hoping it would do that, but that's all right. What I can do is just manually scroll it down to 40. Would be nice if it did it itself, but that's okay. No worries at all. So I will film this video in real time and show it to you in real time. There may be some bits where nothing's happening, I might speed it up. Or if we're stopped at a red light, for example, but you'll see basically end to end 20 minutes minimum of this journey as proof that as proof of the challenge, basically. It's a nice example of an auto lane change there at 40 kilometers an hour. For those who aren't aware, full self-driving comes with auto lane change, which I think arguably is the best function so far of full self-driving. The lane change, I think, pretty close with that, and navigate on autopilot, and also the traffic light reactivity thing. So I think those three are basically the top three features in my opinion. I think currently, once we get the turning function in city roads, I think that would be awesome. I can't wait for that. And of course, visual speed sign recognition too. That'll be nice, which I'm hoping in the next few updates will be arriving here in Australia. We haven't got that yet. I know in the US you guys may have had that already, in the UK and Europe, but not here in Australia. Now, I didn't see whether we'd passed the school zone yet. Let me see. Ooh. That was interesting. The lane's going a bit wonky. Sometimes when there's too big a gap between lane markings, it does that. And then autopilot freaks out a little bit, but I'm thankful it didn't break for me. I think we're back to 70. I don't see any more school zones, so let me just tap the screen there, back to 70. Not that it really matters in peak hour traffic. We're sort of bumper to bumper anyway. Just coming up to North Narrabeen now. Giving you guys a nice tour of the northern beaches of Sydney. Lovely part of the world, by the way. And coming up to another red light. And stopping very nicely. Not sure if that Toyota obeyed the traffic rules there I think it might have run the red, but it's okay. We are paying attention to the road. Of course, autopilot is always beta. See, in that situation, I was the first car, and it didn't actually go on green for me. I had to use the stalk at that time to proceed on the green. You see that red line on the screen there. And the chime came a little bit too late, I've got to say. They've got to work that out, I think. It's just a bit too slow. Yeah, like I was saying, autopilot is still beta. Beta? So keep your hands on the wheel at all times, and eyes on the road. Always paying attention. Just passing Narrabeen now, 8:57. So we're about 7 minutes into the test. So far so good. 0 brakes, which I'm very happy with. Okay, so coming up another school zone here, guys. Let's see whether it jumps down to 40 this time. Again, it'd be nice if we had that speed sign recognition visually. So yeah, nothing at this stage. And there's a speed camera as well, so I will manually drop it down to 40. Again, not that it really matters because the cars ahead are going slow, but just for my peace of mind. As we go through another green light without my intervention. And we're back to 60. I'll just press 60 again on my screen there. So actually pretty good responsiveness there. The lights turned green, and then the line here flashed green pretty close thereafter. And again, no intervention from myself. Car's just sailing through on green. Very happy with that update recently on 36.10. Okay, we're just coming up to the halfway mark of our minimum 20-minute challenge. I'll try to go a bit longer today if I can. I'm recording these days on 4K, 30 frames per second, with the air conditioning down a little bit. That way it's a bit cooler in the cabin. I find that if it overheats, especially on 60 frames per second, it can cause some overheating issues and the camera stops recording. So we'll try to go to 30 minutes today if we can. Doing so far so good. Just a quick shout out to Tesla Australia for recommending me to go to 30 frames per second. I saw his recent video too, his autopilot challenge. So thanks Adam for doing that, and you were recording at at 30 quite nicely, 30 frames per second. You got to about 25, I think, or even 30 minutes. So yeah, great job, Adam. Thank you for that. Just passing Collaroy now, heading southbound on Pittwater Road. I mean, the traffic is busy, but not terrible by any means. We are, moving, which is nice. We're actually going quicker than I thought we would. We might actually go past Brookvale. If we do, that's fine. We'll keep going, see how far we can go. Sorry about the bumpiness, guys. This road is not in the best condition, unfortunately. Okay, so just coming up to another red light. Nice to test these red lights. It's doing a great job so far, I've got to say. No brakes. About 11 minutes in. And no dodgy turnings. Left turn, left curve, right curve of the road. It's pretty much been right in the center of the lane. Almost on rails, I might say. Hasn't gone too close to the truck next to me on either side of the lane, so pretty happy so far. We're just coming up to DY very soon. Just rounding the head at DY. Coming down to DY Beach very shortly. See that Toyota Ute there? That car kind of veered into my lane, but this car didn't panic, just kept its course. Didn't take evasive maneuvers. Very impressive. Probably felt that there was enough room for the Toyota to do that, so good job. Are motorcycles allowed in the bus lane? Not sure. Leave a comment. I'm not really sure what the rules are in New South Wales. I wouldn't have thought so, but hey, I could be wrong. So what's really impressive too is that I'm about, I would say, 7 or 8 cars, maybe 7 cars from the light. And the autopilot cameras, pick up the traffic signals so well, and the responsiveness was so good, as you saw on the screen. That line pretty much splashed green very shortly after the lights turned green itself. So really amazing responsiveness from the Hardware 3 computer. I'm so impressed. And now with going green, I don't have to worry about those intersections where there are 2 lines or 2 sets of lights, and the car thinks it's actually 2 lights very close to each other, and then you've got to confirm twice, as we've seen in some of my videos and also some of my colleagues' videos from the Phantom Lane 4 crew. Especially when there's a right turn filter lane arrow, that's when the car thinks you've got to confirm again. But now with the Go on Green software update in 3610, that doesn't seem to be an issue anymore. It seems to allow the car to cross through the intersection if there's a car ahead of you with traffic aware cruise control active. I guess if you are the first car through, you might have to confirm twice. Haven't had that scenario yet, so when we do come across that, we'll keep an eye out for that. If not this video, then subsequent videos. So just heading into DY town itself, or DY precinct. It's very built up these days, lots of new apartments and mixed use complexes. Bit of a shame, you kind of block the view of the beach, but I guess good for the economy in the local area. Can't complain too much. Well, we got the chime that time, and again, no confirmation required on my behalf. The car just sailed right through. It's doing really well so far, guys. 17 or so minutes in. Not a single intervention has been required of me. Car has done really well. No maneuvers yet that I've been concerned about. Hasn't been too close to any of the lanes, or either side of the lanes. Sailed through all green intersections. Stopped at all red lights. Hasn't run any red lights. I guess the only thing is the school zones. I haven't seen it drop down to 40 by itself, which would be nice if it was time-based and date-based and weekday-based, all that kind of thing. That kind of thing you can program, I'm sure. Someone at Tesla could have done that, but you know, hopefully things to come. I had to manually scroll the wheel down myself for school zones, but apart from that, I think it's been pretty good. Sailed through an amber light, and you tell you what, the car ahead of me was actually quite far ahead. That Hyundai, that blue Hyundai, was I would say a good 6 or 7 car lengths ahead of me, and yet this car didn't need to confirm. So amazing. I mean, I don't know what the standard is with requiring confirmation, how far, how close you have to be to the car ahead of you. But I would say that was a sizable distance. So yeah, impressive. And even on an amber light too. We're getting pretty close to 20 minutes. We're just about to hit Brookvale now. I'm going to try to go a bit longer if I can, just because we can. The camera seems to be holding up pretty well. It's cool in the cabin, so I think that's made a difference. And we are recording at 30 frames per second as well, so that should help things with the camera's processing. Again, so far so good. Traffic's very nice, very smooth. So notice how the notification came up when the lights were 200 meters away. I mean, that's really impressive, and we were on a curve as well, so you know, the camera's picked up I would say, you know, 45 degrees offset the red lights. So yeah, very impressive. That's really interesting there. See that there's a little green there for the filter arrow, left filter arrow, and the rest of the lights are red. I'm not sure how the computer deciphers whether to stop or go. Obviously there's a car ahead of me, so I won't go, but I guess that's where the safety issue comes in, where if you're the first car at the stage, Tesla won't allow the car to go ahead without your intervention. I think that's part of the problem at this stage, because you know, I've got these red filter arrows. The car can't differentiate. Well, look, there you go. I've had to intervene that time because the Tiguan ahead of me was a bit too far ahead. Interesting. That was about the same distance as the other car, that blue Hyundai before. So interesting. Ooh, okay. It thinks the flashing light is a school zone. It thinks the school zone is a traffic light. So I had to actually intervene as well that time, thinking it was a red light. Interesting. I had to intervene for that one too, so the car ahead of me was too far. Okay, back to 60. Let's go up to 60. Okay, the car ahead of me wants to merge in. Oh, okay, I had to intervene that time. So that's one brake, guys. I wasn't sure if this car was going to, or my car was going to stop in time or slow down in time for the Amarok ahead of me, so we'll count that as one brake, which is a shame. We're going so well. That's okay. 21 minutes in, I believe. We'll go up to 9:20. If we can, that'll make it about 30 minutes. Just passing Brookvale and Warringamall on our right. See whether we can get down to Seaforth, Balgowlah Seaforth. Might make it before then. We'll see. Got the ding that time. No intervention again. Oh, interesting. So the Amarok was too far ahead that time, and I had to confirm the green. That's really odd, because I mean, I wonder if it's speed based as well. I mean, we're both traveling pretty slowly. Yeah, I haven't quite worked it out. Yeah, I mean, that time there's no car ahead of me, so I had to confirm with the green. Ooh, a little bit wonky that time, but it managed to keep the lane. No dramas that time. Went through the green pretty nicely. Okay guys, we're just coming up to another school zone. We're still within the school zone hours. 9:15, so we'll see what happens. See whether the flashing light... Yeah, so the car thinks it's a red light again. But this time it's letting me through. Didn't change down to 40. No thanks to non-visual speed sign recognition, so I will scroll down to 40 for it. It's so important. I think that's why we need visual speed sign recognition. And also, like, you know, someone programming the hours as well. Okay, back up to 60. Tap the screen there at 60. Okay, I've had to intervene there a little bit because the truck behind me was coming up really close and this car didn't want to merge, so I won't chalk it as an intervention, but I did press the accelerator pedal. Okay, coming up pretty close to 30 minutes now. Second car at a red light. Should just go through pretty nicely here. Oh, interesting that time. That was really odd. I had to intervene with the green light because that Mercedes ahead of me, the black one, shot out of the blocks relatively quickly for a nice car. I'm the first car again here, so I had to intervene again. That's fine. But you know, I was the second car, and the Mercedes shot out, and then the car was a bit confused. My car was confused, and suddenly thought I was the first car. So I had to intervene that time. So interesting that time. Really interesting. It's almost like the first car, or the car ahead of you, cannot zip out too quickly. Otherwise, hang on, before I just talk, I would just go up to 80, then press the speedometer. Boom. Yeah, that's a nice little trick there. With the recent update, or 2 updates ago, where you can tap your speedometer to get autopilot to match it instead of touching that speed limit sign. Yeah, so that's interesting. So if the car ahead of you is zipping out of the light too quickly, then you may have to intervene if you're the second car, because your car will think you're the first car at the light all of a sudden. There you go. Oh, I don't like following this truck too closely, but that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. Alright guys, I think we're coming up to 30 minutes, I would say. We're 30 minutes, yeah. So I might can it there, actually. And call it a day. I'll just cancel here. I want to turn right here. So guys, that is our Tesla Autopilot Urban Challenge. And we've done almost 30 minutes. I don't have the exact time. Hopefully it is 30 minutes when I go back look at the footage. But I would say I did pretty well. One official intervention. I would say maybe a couple of unofficial ones where I had to intervene or speed up a little bit for safety reasons. But yeah, I think honestly, compared to the last 2 autopilot challenges and the last several drives I've done with software update videos, I think it's actually performed really well. There's been less lane anomalies, you know, hasn't swerved too close to the lane markings, hasn't freaked out as much, taken the curves pretty well. So I would say that's a pass and an improvement subjectively as well. Cool. All right, guys. Well, that's it from me for this Autopilot Challenge episode 3. Now, where would you like me to go next? Which road in Sydney would you like me to test next for the Autopilot Challenge episode 4? I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I really appreciate that. And of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already yet. Until next time, stay safe. And as always, happy chatting.